Hi guys, what's up? One of the greatest bits of information you can become aware of in your life as a man is to know what your number one self-care habit is. Now, a lot of guys, when you start talking about self-care, self-care is for women. Self-care is when you take your bath and you wax your legs, and self-care is when you put your makeup on, and self-care for a lot of different guys. I come from an Irish background. Like, it's that's for the pussies. That's for the guys that are sort of a little bit weak, to just sort of to fancy dance, to mind themselves. But all of that is sort of crap. Self-care is knowing what your number one self-care habit is essential for you being able to turn up as like your epic fucking giant within, bringing out that incredible energy that you have, that every man has. But knowing what the one habit, the one ritual is that brings that out the most, that sets the foundation for you actually coming from there, is crucial. For me, in my own experience, I sort of was thinking about it, and I thought for a while, it's meditation. Meditation is the one thing because the Dalai Lama does it. I've followed Tibetan Buddhism. I was like, I gotta be meditation. It has to be. And I sort of did that for a while. But I noticed with experimenting with it, what became evident was if I was leaving out exercise, I was sitting into meditation, but if I was feeling stiff, if I was feeling sort of a little bit just, creaky, crikey, my back was at me, I just wasn't feeling alive. I mean, meditation was annoying me. I just was never feeling any sort of breakthrough clarity. Meditation just didn't do it for me. So progressively what I realized was exercise. Any time I exercise in the morning and I spend about 20 minutes max in a good session of exercise. Yoga stretching is what I'm doing now, but it sort of changes with time. Sometimes, depending on what I'm doing and what goals I have. But 20 minutes exercise in the morning gets me feeling epic and brilliant. And funnily enough, I do meditation afterwards and I feel brilliant after meditation. But exercise is the number one thing for me. Then I'm doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I do 2 intense sessions of that per week, and anything after that is a pleasant bonus. But I set myself up for my epic days, my masterpiece days, only when I've established exercise, a good 20-minute session of exercise in the morning. My days, my life, everything goes better after that. Now, exercise can be it for a lot of guys. It doesn't actually matter. I'm not suggesting that for you. There could be something else for you. It could be setting your schedule. It could be meditating. It could be journaling. It could be going for a walk with the dog. It could be listening to a podcast on the way to work. Whatever it is, hone in on what the ritual is. What is the activity that sets you into your zone, into your genius zone, into your feeling epic about yourself zone, into your high vibrational, high emotional, highest confident, highest version of yourself. Because once you realize what that is, you recognize from trial and error, from experimenting in life, when you realize what that one thing is, what the highest impact thing is, then it only makes sense that you align your day, preferably the morning, because that sets you up and sets the momentum for your entire day. But when you know that, aligning your life to fit that one self-care habit in makes an exponential difference to your ability to grow as a human, your ability to serve as a man in your community, your ability to turn up as your epic best self. And everybody benefits from that, not excluding you, of course. Everything goes better in your life when you guarantee that number one thing that you have consciously recognized out of all the data of your life, you get that in as the number one priority. It's the number one priority beyond everything else. Don't prioritize another human being ahead of that. People get a little bit, but that's being selfish. What about my family? What about business? What about, like my mom's feeling sick? What about my dad? He's dying. Whatever. I mean, if you want to serve these people. You serve them with your highest self. You can't serve people, you can't serve life, you can't have the greatest impact if you haven't set yourself up to be feeling in your best zone possible as a human being. Think about it. You know, people say, oh, well, you know, there's these examples of, look at these selfless examples like Mother Teresa, like the Dalai Lama, like, you know, I share an example of the Buddhist master that myself and my wife would follow, Cycle Rinpoche. You know, and I heard a story of somebody that was helping him behind the scenes at one of the retreats, and the person actually went in when he was in the middle of a sort of a reflective mode, or he was having a chill out time, meditating. I don't know what the hell he was doing, but it was his time. He pretty much barked at the woman and said, you know, get out of here. This is my time. You know, that didn't seem selfless. It was a bit rude, and it's very easy for a person to sort of go into it and think, well, Jesus, that wasn't nice. But the guy knew. He's like, he was serving hundreds of people at that retreat. It was a busy time. He needed that time to renew his battery, to feel revitalized. And the story went that immediately after he had his own personal time, he tracked down that person, and then he gave his 100% conscious presence. Why? Because he was in alignment. His self-care routine, he set boundaries. He did not let those boundaries be crossed. He aligns his entire life around what floats his boat, what gets him into the highest vibrational state of being. It makes sense. We can't serve our best. We can't get the best for ourselves and serve the best to other people and have the greatest impact in our lives until we know what the number one self-care habit is. And knowing it doesn't make the difference. Knowing it, recognizing it, and then aligning to get it in. Get it stuck in there. So, my challenge to you, if you don't already know, is ask yourself that question. What's the number one activity, number one habit, number one routine, number one thing that you can do, that you have done before, that floats your boat and makes you feel great? Then establish your time, preferably in the morning. Get the momentum for your whole day. Establish a time and a place to do that. Set a small little time, like just start with sort of 5 minutes, something minimal that it's just impossible not to make it happen. It's completely realistic. You will get it in there, and then extend that time a bit by bit by bit as you go along, as necessary. But find that habit, align your life around getting it in, and get it in there every single day. This is one of the key mindset growth factors behind millionaires, billionaires, peak performers. They know what the habits are that floats their boat, that gets them skyrocketing high. But first and foremost, find the number one thing for you. Get that going, get massive momentum behind it, and then that'll just start spreading into your life and set other habits. But know the number one thing. Never, ever relinquish your boundaries on that. Get that in and get yourself feeling epic, feeling brilliant, and your life, the world, and everybody in it will be served better by your presence. Nothing else should be tolerable as a man. You are worth that. You have that power. Just start unleashing it. Have a great day. Enjoy the experience, and let me know how you get on with this number one self-care habit routine. Thanks, guys. Bye.